Another great thing about the IQR is that it is also resistant to outliers. Last time we said the median was resistant to outliers. So if we remove an outlier, if we remove like the maximum value or the minimum value, that for the median, it only shifts the data by like half a position to the left. And the same is true for the IQR. If you drop one value, all it does is it says, I'm just going to pick the next value down in my list of values as my first quartile, and my next value up as my third quartile. So those values are not that far apart from each other. Removing the high outlier. Doesn't change the value of the median or the IQR very much. It's resistant to outliers. Now, all of those 5 statistics that I was just talking about, the minimum, the quartile, first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the max, about a fourth of the count will be in between each one of those. Now, here, because I have a number 20 that's actually divisible by 4, it's exactly a fourth of the count. But if there were 19 values, there would be around a fourth of the count between each of those. So the 5-number summary is this list of values. So if I list that out, the smallest one was a 47. And then the first quartile we just calculated to be 74. And the median was 83.5. And this is 104.5, the third quartile. And then there's the maximum, which is 180. And these are all thousands of miles. This is called the 5-number summary. This is a good summarization of the distribution of a quantitative variable. Now let's say I want to calculate those. All right, so we haven't done this yet. So let me go back to Statcrunch. And here I just have the mileages. There's a couple things that we can do in Statcrunch. Like I said before, we could get a histogram. We do that with graph histogram. Just select the variable, compute. If I wanted to have this to be relative frequency, or I wanted to change my bin width, I could go back to options edit and I say, no, instead of frequency, I want relative frequency. Or instead of my bin width being 20,000 miles, I might want to change it to 40,000 miles. So I could change that there. And so now I have, I have proportions as the y-axis. Now I have a little less detail, but have fewer bars. I might like that. And if I want to calculate statistics on this column of data, because I'm not going to want to calculate that by hand. So what I need to do is I'm going to calculate summary statistics. So I'm going to click on Stat, Summary Stats, and I want to do it by column. So I'm going to look at, calculate for this column a bunch of statistics. And so you can see it's got, it's got a list. These are like, when you click compute, it gives you a bunch of them that are very useful. So there's N is the sample size. I got 20 cars. Here's the mean mileage, 93.55 thousand miles. And then here's the median mileage, 83.5 thousand miles. The range, that's the maximum minus the minimum, the maximum, Q1, Q3. Now IQR is not there, but I can get it by taking Q3 and subtracting Q1. Or if I go back here, I can pick which statistics I want to see. And you can see that the ones that are grayed are selected, but there's other ones down below, like IQR, that I can choose. So if I just wanted the 5-number summary, for instance, and I wanted the sample size, so I got N, I could go down here and I could select the minimum and then the Q1, and then I go up to the median, and then Q3, and then the maximum. And I'm going to pick the IQR too. Alright, so now I've got my sample size, I have the 5-number summary, which are these values, and I have the IQR, which I could get by just taking Q3, that's 104.5 minus 74.